Hi everyone, it's Miss Brenner. I hope you're all doing well and staying happy and healthy. Today we're going to be talking about sentence fragments. So a sentence fragment is a dependent clause which may or may not have a subject and a verb. I'm going to stick within this realm of talking about sentence fragments as dependent clauses to try and keep our examples in the same realm. Specifically, a fragment is a group of words pretending to be a sentence. It is punctuated and capitalized as if it were a sentence, and it may or may not have a subject and a verb. So first we're going to focus on if a part of the sentence is missing, meaning the subject and the verb. So these are some examples where part of the sentence is missing. 3 little girls in the front row ran behind the blue couch after the rain stopped. So all of these statements cannot be a sentence, they are a fragment because they are missing something. So for each of these examples, let's start off with 3 little girls in the front row. It's a fragment because we don't know what the girls did, it's missing a verb. Ran behind the blue couch, we don't know who ran behind the blue couch, so it's missing a subject. After the rain stopped, we don't know who did what, we're missing a subject and a verb. So this is just our basic fragment. So I'm going to have you guys practice this. Something is missing. I'd like you to tell me whether it's the subject, the verb, or both. So first one, the students seated in group C. Number 2, walked around the classroom to answer questions. Number 3, before class began. Number 4, the teacher at the front of the room. Number 5, reading quietly while waiting for the bell to ring. So once again, sentence fragments are common in spoken language, but they are not acceptable for academic and professional writing, such as what we do in class. A sentence fragment is not a complete thought, and therefore it can't stand on its own. So a lot of times we would compare this to a dependent clause, which we've already gone over. It's one of the most common forms of fragments. Although a dependent clause has a subject and a verb, it is always introduced by a subordinating conjunction. So I list a whole bunch there. Thus, it can't be treated as a complete thought, and therefore it's not a sentence. So if we were going to correct some examples of dependent clauses, and therefore we want to either join a dependent clause to an independent clause, making it a complex sentence, or make the dependent clause into an independent one, making it a simple sentence. So the study showed that many employees eventually began to neglect their duties, period, because they became bored with their jobs, period. If we were going to correct these two fragments, we would want to do one of the two options. We can make it into a complex sentence. The study showed that many employees eventually began to neglect their duties because they became bored with their jobs. So we can do that, or we can make it into a simple sentence. Two simple sentences. The study showed that many employees eventually began to neglect their duties, period. This is because the employees became bored with their jobs. So once again, here are some more examples where we could make it into a compound sentence. So Marcy was excited about working in Washington, period, but was also somewhat apprehensive. So we have a fanboy in the sentence, for and nor but or yet so. So we can then transform this fragment into a compound sentence. Marcy was excited about working in Washington, but was also somewhat apprehensive. We then have an example, Dorothy and her friends went to Emerald City, singing and dancing down Yellow Brick Road. These are fragments, and so we want to do what we were talking about before and create a complex sentence. Singing and dancing down Yellow Brick Road, Dorothy and her friends went to Emerald City. Alrighty, so now we're going to practice. What I'd like you to do is to tell me whether it is a complete sentence or if it is a fragment. Alrighty. So whether you like it or not is number 1. Number 2, I refuse to abide by these ridiculous rules. Number 3, Jenny wanted to help sick people. Number 4, I won't do it for all the money in the world. Number 5, so she became a doctor to help sick patients. Number 6, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Alrighty, those are all of our sentences. So we're going to continue practicing with fragments and going back to our forms of sentences being simple, compound, complex, and compound complex sentences this week in grammar. We're also then going to be looking forward at run-on sentences. Alrighty guys, I hope you have a wonderful day and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.